Right. We are on our second day of the week, which is Wednesday, which is a little weird. And I'm getting some messages from some of you guys that you're a little frustrated that you're not fully understanding the material. And this is the message that I want to share with you. Remember, you are learning something that we would normally learn in an entire week or two, in sometimes one lesson, where you're watching me on a computer screen for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So cut yourself some slack. Don't get frustrated. And next year, your teacher lives through this too next year. He or she's going to know that you didn't fully get, education the way that you normally would. So therefore, they're going to be a little bit more patient, and they'll probably trace back and reteach some concepts. But the fact that you are watching this, it will help you. Even if you're not mastering it right now, it will help you, I promise. So don't get frustrated or discouraged or feel like you're wasting your time. Because next year when your teacher goes over it, you're going to be like, I kind of remember that. And you're going to pick up new things, but you're going to build on this learning experience. All right, so today we are working on classifying quadrilaterals, which sounds disgusting, right? But it's not so bad. First, let's just talk about shapes and let's talk about polygons, right? A lot of you guys will remember, like a three-sided polygon is a triangle, four-sided is a quadrilateral. That means four. Quad means four. Pentagon is 5, hexagon 6, heptagon 7, octagon 8, and they go on and on and on and on and on. Today we are going to focus just on one of those, quadrilateral, which the word is nasty, but really all we're working on is a four-sided shape. Okay, we're going to talk about the different clubs of a four-sided shape. So there are regular and irregular polygons. Okay, we don't really need to understand regular or irregular polygons. Just know that a regular polygon means that all sides are the same. All sides are the same size, okay, or length. So like triangle, all three of its sides the same length, so it's a regular polygon. And then irregular means that the sides are different lengths. And we're going to be working with regular and irregular polygons with quadrilateral. So we're going to work on four-sided figures that have all the sides the same and some that don't, and that's okay. We have concave versus convex. So all that means is if your shape is indented, it's caving in, so it's concave. If it's not indented, then it's convex. It's not caving in, it's convex, and we don't work with complex polygons, so you can ignore that. And then these are all examples of things that are not considered polygons. So circles are not polygons. Anything that has curves in it, it cannot be classified as a polygon. Anything that has anything that's open on it, like this smiley face guy right here, not a polygon. And then anything three-dimensional is not polygon because it has to be two-dimensional. All right, so let's dive into quadrilaterals. Four-sided shapes are quadrilaterals. And the words that we're going to be using today, we're going to be talking about trapezoid, rectangle. This is in the graphic I'm showing you, but we're not going to talk about isosceles trapezoids. So we're going to talk about trapezoids, rectangles, squares, rhombus. We will be touching on kite a little bit, and parallelograms. And the easiest way that I found to teach this to students is they're like clubs. Like we get a shape and then we ask ourselves, what clubs can the shape join? And each club has rules. Like the square club says, you can only join if all your sides are the same length and you have 4 right angles. So every club has different rules, and then we take that shape and we say, okay, you can join this club because you fit all the rules for that club. Okay? call this classification. What group can you join? We have the first two groups we will talk about are parallelograms and trapezoids. So if you are a four-sided figure, we are going to ask, now you have four sides. Do you have two pairs that are parallel? So let's say your top and bottom, are they parallel? Meaning they're never going to intersect, right? Parallel means you're never going to intersect. Like the L's in the word parallel, those are parallel. If they were lines, they'd go on forever without intersecting. So if you have two groups of lines that are parallel, even if they're all parallel to each other, well, you can't be all parallel to each other. So you have two pair of parallel lines, then you're a parallelogram. Cool. But if you do not, you only have one pair of parallel lines, you are a trapezoid. So can you be a parallelogram and a trapezoid? No, you can't, because trapezoid, the rule to join the trapezoid club is you only have one group of parallel lines, like this one. The top and bottom lines are parallel, so they're like, cool, you're good to be a trapezoid because your other lines are not parallel. So you only have one group of parallel lines. Parallelograms like, go to the trapezoids. You have to have two pairs of parallel lines to join our group. So those are those groups. We have a couple other groups we'll talk about. We have, so now, if you are part of the trapezoid group, that's it. You can't join other groups except for the quadrilateral group, because that's what all these are, quadrilaterals, because it just means you have four sides. But if you're part of the parallelogram, we have other groups that you can join too. You can join a rhombus group. That means you are a parallelogram. That means you have two groups of parallel sides, and four of your sides are the exact same length. You're a rhombus then. Rectangles like, all right, you can join my group if you are a parallelogram, you have two sides of parallel lines, and you have four right angles. Then you can join our group. Squares like, okay, you have to be a parallelogram, and you have to have four sides that are equal length, and you have to have four right angles, and then you could join our group. So, can one shape join multiple groups? Yes, of course a shape can join multiple groups. All right, quadrilaterals. Here we go. So, this is a classification chart right here. And okay, so this is a hierarchy chart right here, and it's saying, hey, if you're quadrilateral, you are either going to be, well, this is a bad graphic because we don't really focus too much on kites. So yeah, you are a trapezoid or a parallelogram. And if you're a parallelogram, you're a rectangle, a rhombus, or a square. Let's move out of that. All right, so I gave you three different shapes, and I'm asking you to tell me all of the clubs that shape can join in on. So this right here, usually we have like little lines that tell you that they're equal, like that has one line, that has one line. So those are equal lengths. You know what? Let's call these equal lengths too. So they all have the same one line. So we're saying all of the lengths are equal. So if all the lengths are equal, then we are going to call that a, well, let's start here. Let's say, okay, is it a trapezoid? Trapezoid means there's only one pair of parallel lines, but these are parallel and these are parallel, so it's not a trapezoid. Is it a parallelogram? Well, these are parallel to each other, these guys, and these guys are parallel, so yes. Is it a rhombus? A rhombus just means they all have the same, a rhombus means it's a parallelogram and they all have the same length. Boomski. Rhombus. Is it a rectangle? A rectangle says that they have all right angles. It's a quadrilateral. It's a parallelogram. And it has two pair of parallel lines, which this hits all the categories. So you wouldn't think this is a rectangle, but it is. And what about a square? Oh, square means they're all the same length and 4 90-degree angles, which this is. So there's your answer. You have square, rectangle, rhombus, parallelogram, but not a trapezoid. What about this weird guy right here? Well, it is, you have 4 90-degree angles, and you wouldn't draw this. Normally, when in math, when they're asking you to classify, they're going to show you these shapes. So it has 4 90-degree angles, and it has two pairs of parallel lines. So we know it's a parallelogram. And since it's a parallelogram, it is not a trapezoid, because trapezoid only has one pair of parallel lines. Is it a rhombus? Are all sides equal? Is it a rectangle? Yes, it's a rectangle. It's a rectangle because it has two pairs of lines that are the same length. And is it a square? No, it's not a square. All right, last one. Let's check it out. Ooh, so this one already has our lines up. There's no right angles. It has two different, oh, they are all the same length too, because they're all one line. So since they're all the same length, this is a rhombus. It's a parallelogram because it has two pairs of parallel lines. It is not a trapezoid. It's not a rectangle because there's not 90-degree angles, and it's not a square. So all you have to do is know the rules to join each club, look at a shape, and ask yourself which clubs can this shape join. And since they're all four-sided, they're all going to join the quadrilateral group. All right, guys, good luck. You're going to complete this sheet right here, and then check in with the next video to see how you did. All righty.